Devo Massa going new sluggers for Gates Portugal up for the match. Your hosts for this evening's event, Jackie Hurley and Des Cahill.
Hip, hip, hip. Dave August Fáilte to up for the match. You're all very welcome. What about Riverdance? Weren't they absolutely fantastic? Well, if tomorrow is the Christmas day of hurling, then tonight is Christmas Eve. And as you can see, we're packed to the rafters with festive spirit.
Yeah, we absolutely are,
Look at them all, they love it.
What about the Premier County tonight? What are they bringing to this audience, Des? What are you bringing?
They're
bringing their chant. What about the rebels, though?
I don't think enough credit is given to the people who came up with the chant of tip, tip, tip. A lot of work went into that. Anyway.
Well, I tell you what, Des, I know what I'm looking for. All I am asking for this year is something that glistens in the light, something bold yet timeless, and something I've had on my list for 20 years. It's the Liam McCarthy!
How are you? How are you?
How are you?
Liam McCarthy. And what about Riverdance, ladies and gentlemen? Weren't they absolutely
Give it up for
fantastic? You were wonderful. Thank you so much. And Riverdance 30, the new generation, is currently performing at the Gaiety Theatre. It ends on the 7th of September, and Riverdance plays the SSE Arena, Belfast, from the 17th to the 20th of December. And you can see riverdance.com for more details. Thank you very much for bringing the trophy with you as well.
On the show tonight, we have got legends from both counties. We've got plenty of music. We've got great crack. But let's start with a visit to Tipperary and the home club of Noel and John and Brian McGrath in Lockmore, Castleiney. Only one man for this job, Marty Morrissey. How's all in Tip?
Hello and welcome to Lockmore, Castleiney. We are in the home of Lockmore Castleiney in mid-Tipperary. They're an amazing, amazing club. They've won the double. In fact, they've won the treble. They're senior hurling, senior football champions and junior A champions. And they're also supplying the three McGraths and a Tipperary selector. Now, thank you, Seamus. Seamus gave me a lift down from Dublin. On my next obstacle course will be to get off the tractor. Thank you, lads. Now, I'm joined by more of the McGraths. This is Aidan McGrath, first cousin of the lads John, Brian and Noel tomorrow. What does it feel like? I mean, in Lockmore, Castleiney, you just love your football and hurling.
Ah, yeah, it's brilliant. Like, for the last couple of weeks since the Beck-Kilkenny in the semi-final, like, it's been building. As you can see here, with all the young faces and everything, like, everyone is so excited and looking forward to tomorrow.
And Liam, is this a normal night, Saturday night in Lockmore, Castleiney?
Jeez, I wish it was, but yeah, I don't think I've ever seen crowds like this here before. Even all the young lads here as well. It's yeah, it's a special occasion, and it's great to be here. So it is.
Well done. And of course, you're the uncle of the lads as well. It must be a great thrill to have your nephews playing tomorrow.
True, Marty, but like they've been involved for a number of years, like, so it's no big deal for them. Like, and then look, it's nervous as well from our point of view. The supporters, they get nervous for these matches too, so it's not easy being a supporter. But man, hopefully they can do it tomorrow anyway. Like.
Yvonne, you're the PRO of this great club. I mean, you've won the double. You have three lads involved tomorrow and a selector.
That's right. Declan Laffin from Castleiney is a selector as well, and Noel, Brian and John. And we're super proud, and they're heroes to the children and great role models, all of them.
Well done, and thank you all for joining us. But the crowd here is just huge, and we're having a little bit extra here for you tonight because we have a mystery guest. Now, I believe he looks better now than he does in reality. Here's the question that we want to know. This wonderful Tipperary hurler changed his boots before the 2010 All-Ireland Final. Do you know who it is? Is it Lark Horvath, Owen Kelly, Nicky English, 2010 All-Ireland Final? Who changed his boots? Meanwhile, we're all surrounded by this wonderful club.
Well, now, Marty, It's great crack there. Well, I know Cork won't be outdone by the Tip crowd either. Anna Geary is on home style tonight. So, Anna, where in Cork are you?
Tonight, the proud home of Mark Coleman, Shane Barrett, and Paddy Power. And even though we've had a yellow rain warning, it clearly hasn't dampened anybody's spirits. There's such hurling fever here in Cork. They're even making guitars out of hurleys. A little bit more on that later on. But I think for now, there's really only one thing left for us all to say. What do you think that is?
It's great to see the youngsters enjoying it so much. Well, it's been a long road for our two teams to get to the stage. So much drama along the way. So let's take a look at how two wonderful sides emerged on top and have made it to the 2025 All-Ireland Hurling Final.
It's the sound of the summer. The birds singing, the crowds roaring, and it's the clash of the act. There are fast points breaking out all over the pitch. Massive tension right at the start. Darren McCarthy straight red. Oh my word. That was before the ball was even from Hayes. Hayes into space looking Tim O'Mahony. Bursting through, tipping really open. What a goal! Tim O'Mahony. Cork have it. Here comes the man. Huggy. Patrick Morgan. Levels the match. It's penalty time in the TUC Gaelic grounds. One of the great hurling captains, Declan Hannon, facing Patrick Collins. Cork are Munster champions. Look at the scenes. Look at the joy. Can you believe this? There's McGrath. That's beautiful hurling. On one side of the pitch, the other opportunity coming to Tipperary. Fantastic goal.
Oisin O'Donoghue swings the stick. Oh, what a goal! Oisin O'Donoghue has got a goal for Tipperary.
It was Noel McGrath got a defence of flicks. And it was Oisin O'Donoghue. Oh,
so Tipperary fans, it's all over. Tipperary are back in the All-Ireland Final.
Combination. Here's Hayes. Back in the net. Brilliant goal. Beautifully created. Cork are back in the All-Ireland Hurling Final for the second year in a row. Job done for Pat Ryan. And it's been hugely impressive.
Absolutely brilliant. All right, let's keep that rivalry going then, because here to share their views on tomorrow's final, in the red corner, Tomas Mulcahy, and in the yellow and blue corner, it's Joe Hayes.
Hey.
Good to see you.
Come on.
They're lively, lads.
You're welcome, lads. And Joe, nice to see you wearing the Dylan Quirk Foundation shirt as well. It's great to see that being supported. You're both very welcome. Tomas, what a rivalry between Cork and Tip, going back, more than a century. And you've been involved so long. You were involved in that very famous, if you were around at the time, the 1984, the centenary Munster final between the two sides.
Yeah, it was back then, Joe, our days, I was only just after come on in 83, played my first Ireland final in 83 and 19, and then to go to Thurles centenary year in 1984 was special. It was an incredible occasion, and like a lot of memories in terms of the players that I played with, that I came onto the team, the raw recruiting, you had likes of Johnny Crowley, John Fenton, Shawnee O'Leary, Jimmy Barry Murphy, you know, legendary Kevin Hennessy and those guys as well. And like my memory of that, we were 5 points down with time up, and a lot of the Cork supporters had left the ground. They were on their way back to the train station. They were on their way back to Cork, thought it was all over. The famine was over eventually for Tip, right? But up stepped Shawnee O'Leary and up stepped Tony O'Sullivan. And as I say, the rest is history. And they had to wait a bit longer. But most people that got on the train, there was no mobile phones then. There was very little of the transistor. They only knew when they got back to Cork that Cork had actually won the match, you know. But there's a photograph that I saw today, Des, and it was a brilliant photograph from back with that rivalry. And it's Teddy McCarthy, the late Teddy McCarthy, going over Colin Bonner, right, catching a ball, and his knee is above his shoulder. But the man in the background, like that, and his mouth opened, is the great Joe Hill.
Right? His mouth was open already.
Yeah, but yeah, his mouth was open. But I'm looking now tonight, because in that picture, he had no teeth. Right? But I'm looking now, Joe, is there something after changing? They're gone very white. Were you in Turkey or something?
Well, excuse me, I'm after getting a new pair of nachos out in Turkey, and I just they're settling into their new home, and I just hope they don't come out the front door. There was 2 dentists on the Cork team. Back then, I was just thinking about when we were talking about teeth. That was Pat Hartnett
and Richard Brown.
And Richard Brown.
And John Brown.
And Mark Foley. And then there was another 13 unofficial dentists. And Tomas, he wouldn't charge you for taking out a tooth.
Things were different back then, Joe.
Brilliant. Things certainly were different, because did I hear a story about you in a squad car after the '88 Munster final?
Yes, yeah. Yes, there was. It was 1988, and I met actually the late Paul O'Connor in it, God rest his soul. And I suppose you'd be on the drive for a couple of weeks before the match, and I suppose when the match would be over, you'd be half thirsty. And at that time, then there'd be crowds around, so I spot a squad car. I had been stationed in Kilmallock, and the man, I knew the man, the real nameless, yeah, Drew Harris might have him in tomorrow morning. So didn't he, I said, hey, you wouldn't give us a lift. And I had 2 great friends of mine, John Gould and the late Jimmy Morrissey. And I said, come on. So put the 3 of us back into the squad car. And he says, where do you want to go? I says, Dirty Nelly's. And he took us out to Dirty Nelly's. He says, what time do you want to be collected at? And I said, 8 o'clock. And he, better than any taxi, he arrived at 8.
That was 8 in the morning, Joe, was it?
No. Not at all, no. But, yeah, that's the story of that.
Your rivalry, though, continued for so long between your teams and subsequent teams. And in 1990, I remember, Babs Keating said, maybe in an off-the-cuff way to Ger Canny, he thought that Cork hadn't enough quality to beat Tip, and he said, donkeys don't win derbies. But there was a fallout over that, was there?
Look, I don't think ourselves internally within the camp made a big deal of that. I think when it came out, everybody else, and maybe in the press and the media, jumped on the bandwagon. But there was certain people in Cork took it up. I mean, we were heading to the train on Sunday morning, and there's Larry Tonkin's pub, and there's another one alongside it, and big signs outside. No, donkey wins a derby, right? You know, donkeys don't win derbies and stuff like that. But I think there was, look, it wasn't. It was just, there was a special relationship between Cork and Tip on the field of play, and I don't think we needed things like that to get us excited or to get us built up and stuff like that for the tempo that was in the games. I mean, I remember '87 in Killarney, the famine is over, right? You know, and I was saying Richie Stakelum and stuff like that as well. That went to a replay, you know, and kind of a biding memory in Thurles in the first day was Joe was playing, and he got a bit of a small little clip in the hand, right? Yeah. And he had to go off injured. And he's up and down the sideline. There was a guy, Jim Cashman, was on him, and Jim wouldn't hurt anybody, no. And he put his hand up in the air, and he calling Jim Cashman out in the field, hey, you! I'm coming for you. Is that correct?
Well, I actually broke the thumb in the Munster final, and I missed the replay in Killarney, which was a great shame, you know, because it's probably the greatest day of all. And I tell you...
That was the day Richie said the famine was
Yeah,
over.
famine was over, yeah, that's
and
right,
to be
yeah.
honest about it, I know the Cork crowd are very confident, and Jackie, you have your holidays booked off and all that crap. But I like to remind, I met Shawnee McGrath there earlier on outside, and I was telling him that I was going to have a little go at him because he wrote on the Cork Examiner there that, oh, the GAA, Cork big time, you know what I mean? And I'd just like to remind now Shawnee and all the Cork crowd and Tomas that since he last won in All-Ireland, we have won 3 All-Irelands. And we've won 2 under-20 All-Irelands. And we won the Munster football final in 21, and who did we beat?
Yeah, but have you done what Cork did in 1990 and win both All-Irelands? And he was...
I didn't want to be reminding him about that now. I didn't want to be reminding him about that.
But I can only tell you that Aidan O'Brien has won a lot of derbies, and he didn't ever win one of them was a donkey. So, and I know he uses it to trick us, and I suppose it reminds me of the match actually tomorrow. Yeah. Like to be honest about it, John Kindy collected me the morning of the match, and I says, "Where are we going celebrating afterwards?" Like that was it was stupidity, like on our own behalf. And Tomas was injured, and Teddy McCarthy. Yeah. Which Tomas, you want to say a few words about
look,
Teddy?
it's just in terms of that rivalry that we had with Tip, right, from '84 right up to '95. You know, in terms of the matches we played, Munster Championship, Munster finals. It was a real healthy rivalry. But like when you look back at it now, and I hope he's sitting up in his bed tonight in his care home below Middleton is Kevin Hensey having a look in, and we say hello to Kevin, right? You know, and absolutely, you know, and like the 1990 is remember for Teddy McCarthy, and only a couple of months back a big statue unveiled for him in Sarsfield's club, and like, I mean, he's gone from us today, and Geoff Fitzgerald that played an awful big part in 1990 Munster final as well, you know, and we just kind of remember these. We remember these tonight, and I'm sure. Look, Joe, you have somebody you want to.
Well, like I'm from the club of Dylan Quirk, like, and that's why I'm wearing the jersey, and it is a tough time.
It's lovely and very important that we remember them and all the others involved in this Cork and Tip.
I'd like to mention Michael Coleman that was bereaved earlier in the year in February. Great hurler, you know. We think of all these, and I'd just like to say one thing about Cork, and that I think nearly we're falling in love with each other now.
I think you have enough said now. You have enough said.
When my own mother died, the first person into the funeral home that evening was Dr. Con Murphy, a great steward of Cork hurling, and Dennis Walsh. These men are the Cork lads, you know, they're brilliant, but that's no reason. We're not going to Crow Park tomorrow and go to lift.
That's enough funerals now to talk what I'm talking about tomorrow. The lads are going to stay with us, and we're going to meet, first of all, an Irish band that's been touring up and down the country to packed out venues. We promised you would have crack agus Ceol tonight. We weren't lying. Will you please welcome Ceol?
There was Hogan from County Tyrone. There was Johnny McGurk, who was scared stiff of a work, and a chap from Westmeath come alone. And a wee slugger or two who was drunk as a rule, and fighting Bill Tracy from Dover. And your man, Mick McCann, from the banks of the Bann, was the skipper of the Irish Rover. Hey! We had sailed 7 years when the measles broke out, and the ship lost its way in the fall. And the whale of a crew was reduced down to 2. 'Twas myself and the captain's old dog. Well, the ship struck a rock. Oh Lord, what a shock! The boat, it was turned right over. She turned 9 times around. James's poor old dog was drowned. Sure, I'm the last of the Irish Rover.
Absolutely brilliant. What a way to get the atmosphere going tonight. Absolutely fantastic. Now, don't go away, because my childhood hero is backstage and he's going to join the panel in just a few minutes. First, though, here is your chance to enter our competition to win 2 tickets to the All-Ireland Final. Do you remember the first time you went to an All-Ireland?
Yeah, well, I went to school near Croke Park, so my first final was Cork were in it.
We won that one.
Cork scored 5 goals.
No, Joe.
And they were beaten. They were. Kilkenny, 1972 final, Kilkenny and Cork did get 5 goals, but it was an 80-minute final. There was about 3 years of 80-minute finals, and Kilkenny got 326 or 329, but Kilkenny edged them. Great game.
Incredible. It's not going to happen tomorrow, Des. Don't worry about it. All right, we asked some well-known faces about their favourite GAA memories. Have a look at this. We'll see you in a few minutes.
One of my favourite GAA memories was I was a mascot for the Tipperary team. This is actually the jersey I wore.
Wow.
I was probably like 7 or 8, and we were such a big GAA family. We supported hurling, but we went to every camogie match.
I was actually a wag the first time I went to Croke Park because I was supporting my teenage boyfriend at the time, playing alongside Paul Mescal with the Kildare Miners.
Sorry, in the shorts?
In the Leinster final. Yeah.
Speaking of exciting experiences, when in 1993
That's pressure, Jackie's favourite
I
hurler.
tell you, no pressure. But I'm not messing though, Des. You were the one we all wanted to be when we were growing up, and I genuinely mean that. And it was from when you were such a young age. Like, you come into that panel in 1991, you're a young minor, and you already have an early decision to make at that stage.
Yeah, for sure. I was still minor, and unfortunately, we'd been beaten by Tipperary in the minor hurling championship. So Father Brian, Canada Brian at the time, rang me and asked me would I be interested in getting involved with the senior panel. So I lined out for a practice game against Dublin down in Mallow, and that went pretty well. He played me centre forward in a practice game. And then I found myself on the panel training with heroes, my heroes like Tomas and Kevin Hennessy and Tony O'Sullivan and these guys, which was a fantastic experience. So I found myself in the panel for the drawing game down in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. Obviously went to a draw, and unfortunately the replay was clashing with the Munster football final, and I was due to play with the minor football team with Cork. We were playing Kerry in the Munster final. So I had a decision to make in terms of go to Thurles to sit on the bench or go to Killarney to play with the minor team. And I remember being down in Páirc Uí Chaoimh, and Eamon Ryan was the minor football coach, and I was going to meet Frank Murphy and Canon O'Brien to make the decision, and Eamon was sitting out in the car. He was kind of like, please come to Killarney. So I felt myself, an obligation to go with the minors. That's the team that they were my age, and I had a long minor career, hadn't won an All-Ireland, so this was my last chance. And so I told Frank and the Canon that I chose to go to Killarney. Which, looking back, I never regretted that decision. We went on and we won the All-Ireland that year. We were listening to the hurling match on the radio down up in the stand in Killarney, and obviously it didn't go Cork's way that day, but it was a fantastic experience for me to be involved for the drawing game. And I remember, Joe and some of the greats of Tipperary, that was real cauldron that day in Páirc Uí Chaoimh in 1991, and I was sitting on the bench and thinking, I'm kind of glad I'm sitting on the bench. I didn't feel I was kind of ready for it. So I made the decision to go play football, and even though hurling would be my preferred sport by choice, by far, I chose the football and never regretted that, because we went on and won the All-Ireland after.
And you had plenty of years afterwards. But that 91 was a replay that year, and you missed that, Joe.
No, I played in the drawn game in Páirc Uí Chaoimh, and for some reason they found it fit not to start me the next day. And I tell you, I wasn't too pleased about it, but I got in the 91 game. I had a great friend, that Jimmy again, he made a big teddy bear, bring on Joe. And they were 7 pints down, and within 10 minutes they were 7 pints up.
That's my case.
Hey. But some fella asked me afterwards in the pub, how do you think you played? I said, what?
I mean, that 91 was special in terms of the match in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. I think we were 9 points up at one stage in the game, and Nick English, remember the kick ball?
Yes.
A bit of controversy, was it over the bar, was it wide, and stuff like that as well. And then the replay in Thurles, I mean, they did everything to beat us that day. They even cut the wires behind the goal when Ger Cunningham was pucking out the ball so quick to let the crowd onto the field when we were 10 points up.
There's something happened that day that I never see to this day in the final moments of the match. Actually, they were thrown in kinds on Ger Cunningham, and I was just thinking they won't be thrown in kinds tomorrow because of the cost of living and the price of the tickets.
And there's more coins, Joe. It's all cards, It's all cards, yeah.
But a man was wheeled into the middle of the pitch in a wheelchair, and they did a kind of a dance and back out again, and the referee blew the final whistle. That's a fact.
But though, even when you look at the scenes at the end of that game here, you'll have a look at them, but this doesn't really happen anymore where you have pitch invasions like this. They might have cut the wire, but you don't get these kind of scenes like that. Look at these.
Who cut the wire?
Well,
the match wasn't over yet here, Joe.
No, you'll see the man in the wheelchair being whizzed in all around and back out again. That was, for us in Tipperary, that was my favourite match of all time.
Was it?
Teddy was going up, and Teddy'd go up a mile. I used to always wait for him to come down. that to me is the favourite match of all time.
Oh, yeah.
I could see why.
But Brian, you went, so back then you chose the minor football final, but then had a great career with the hurlers. You retired in 2001, and a risky thing, you came back, because a lot of players come back and it doesn't always work out. It did work out for you, but what prompted you to come back?
When I retired in 2001, in my mind I had I was done and there was no turning back. Donald O'Grady rang me early in 2003 asking me to come back, and I kind of said no, I was done. And I went to the All-Ireland final in 2003. I was up in the top deck of the Hogan, and before the match, you know, people around me, oh, you should be down there, and why aren't you playing? And I was happy with my decision. And even during the match, I was happy with my decision. And fortunately, you know, Cork lost that match to Kilkenny. I had parked my car out in City West and kind of got the public transport in. That just happened to be where Cork were staying. So I went back and I said I'd wait for the players to come back, and just, you know, it's easy to celebrate when they win, but just to be there when after a loss, because it's difficult. And my plan was just to say hello, shake hands, and head back to Cork. So, you know, I stayed for a while chatting to the lads, met Donald O'Grady, and said my goodbyes, and I was literally walking out, just about to get into the car, and Tom Barry, you know, ran the Corkmen's Association here in Dublin. He was organising a banquet. He ran out after me and he said, why don't you come in and stay for the banquet? And I did, you know, Cork jersey on, didn't have any spare clothes, and he said, look, doesn't matter, come on in. So I went back in and ended up sitting with the players and just, you know, kind of feeling their pain after losing, and left and drove back down to Cork late that night, and met the players again when they came back on the Monday night. And I remember being in a pub in Cork City in the early hours of Tuesday morning with Tom Kenny and Donald Cusack, and I don't know, just something kind of clicked or changed.
You bonded again.
And I remember kind of going home and probably the following day, talking to my wife Elaine, kind of saying, you know, thinking that I might go back, and not that I had any illusions of making the team at that stage, but it was maybe had something to offer on the bench, or, you know, just experience-wise, or, you know, encouraging the younger guys with no real expectations of making the team. So I was, even though I was disappointed at the time, when Satanto Halpine decided to go to Australia. Alan Brown decided to retire. They were two fantastic players, and, you know, I'd soldiered with Alan for a good few years. So all of a sudden there was a few opportunities came up in the forward line. So yeah, just kind of it was kind of an overnight thing, literally. As I say, I'm watching the match in 2003, happy with my decision, no desire to be down there and be back there, and
it paid off, didn't it?
Tell you, Cork people are glad you came back, Brian, that is for sure. Can you believe it's been 20 years? Because you face into this now tomorrow, and I guess maybe the weight of pressure that might be on Cork's shoulders. Is your gut feeling telling you that the famine is going to be over tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a fast 20 years, but obviously there's been a lot of disappointing times for Cork during that time, and a few heartbreaking, you know, 2013, last year. So, you know, it's been the longest time in Cork's history. So it'd be fantastic if they could do it tomorrow. And people, you know, obviously Patrick Horgan, I think everybody in Cork wants him to really get an All-Ireland, but you've Seamus Harnedy, you've, you know, Conor Lehan and Shane Kingston on the bench who've been there for a long time as well. So it'd be fantastic if they could do it, and I think they will.
Let's ask Joe, honestly, how do you think it'll go tomorrow?
The help of God, 'twill be 21 years after tomorrow. And the way I look at it, you know, the way Donald Logue, he'd be looking for oxygen. I'm telling you now, we'll give you plenty of oxygen tomorrow.
What do you think, Tomas? I mean,
how many times did we beat you this year, Joe, already? I mean, you were quick about your results while ago and stuff like that. How many times? I've kind of forgotten now, right? But I'm a nervous, yes, I am. I'm a nervous wreck, to be honest with you. It's probably easier to play the match because of what the week that was in it, the build-up and everything like that. Yeah, but this is a very good team. I think this is a very good Cork team. But the most improved team this year has been Tipperary, and you've got to give them credit for that. I mean, you know, so like the defeat they had against Cork last year in Thurles, I mean, there was a lot of Tip people were gone before the match was over in terms of the measure of the defeat. Then you had kind of a league final. Then you had the championship this year, and I know they could say they were down to 14 men, and maybe they say they want to take that. But Cork were brilliant on those 2 occasions, and I expect them to be the same way tomorrow. I expect, like, they're all talking about the inside line. The Cork full forward line, what's the tactic that Tip are going to employ? Are they going to put a sweeper back there? Are they going to push guys from the half forward line back deep, not to allow Cork get goals in the first 10, 15, 20 minutes? Yeah. But unfortunately, Joe, I think there's a few in the onion bag tomorrow.
I met 2 great men this evening in Gleason's of Booterstown, the great Jimmy Barry Murphy and Nicholas English. And Jimmy Barry was telling me his holidays booked as well.
There'll be nobody working next week.
It's looking bad for us, but I think now, in fairness, that...
and that is the funny thing about it, Joe, right? 1990, you mentioned, no one gave Cork a chance that time. I mean, I've won our Irelands that we had no chance of winning. Go back to 86, and we lost the ones that we expected to win.
Yeah,
so you're in a great position going in tomorrow as underdogs.
That is a great occasion.
But it's only
anyway,
a great position.
It's a great occasion, and let the best team win.
It will, and may the best team win. Yeah. Give it up for our panel, ladies and gentlemen. So much to look forward to tomorrow.
All right, well now, let's go back to Marty in Lochmore, Castleiney, in Tipperary.
Yes. Welcome back. Welcome back to Lochmore, Castleiney. I am aware that the population of Lochmore, Castleiney is under about 1,000 people. I think all 1,000 people are here in the dressing room right now, because I don't think there's anybody around the houses. I'm joined by some wonderful guests, by Mary and Pat McGrath, who have 3 sons playing in the All-Ireland final tomorrow. Mom, if I can ask you that, Mary, are you nervous? Do you watch the game? How do you feel?
Nervous, yes. I'll watch the game, yeah, and yeah, we'll enjoy it when we get to up to Croke Park tomorrow. Absolutely. But yeah, the nerves over the last week. But there's been a great response, as you can see here tonight. There's been great response from the club, Lochmore Castleiney, who they're indebted to over the years. They have had so much success with the club and the county, but it all comes back to the club.
Absolutely.
And they've done great work here over the last week, and we're so proud of them. Really, we're as proud as the club as the boys, and it works vice versa.
Well, they certainly know how to organise an event for the match, I have to say. Pat McGrath, your boys playing tomorrow. I know as young boys they were watching you playing hurling as well. And obviously, I'd say Noel, was it Noel that started at 3 years of age with the hurling?
Yeah, that's true, Marty. Yeah, from the day, nearly from the time he was able to walk, he came to the field with me when I'd be going train. He'd patter around there, and from a very early stage, you could see that he had a bit of skill in him. And then sure the other lads followed suit like that. That what he did, they did, and and they just picked it up bit by bit as they went on from watching the senior players, if you like, and then through all the coaches that they had up through the club, that they all got their chance to learn their skills, and that's what has them where they're going today.
And I know that, like so many families, you've been touched by illness. Noel was sick about 10 years ago, but I'll never forget, because I'm a huge fan of your son now. I remember the day he came back and he went onto the pitch. That was an emotional day, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a huge day for us, Marty. Yeah, it was something that is in the past, thank God. And that you think of other people that might be in the same situation, but it was a huge moment, something that we won't forget.
And he's an inspiration to all of us, I can assure you. And Peggy Everston, my word, all the families seem to be related in this part of the world. But tell me how you're related to the McGraths.
I'm married to Mary's brother, Conor, and Pat's my first cousin.
Right. Okay.
Don't plan it. When you fall, you fall.
So when you hit somebody here, you hit the whole family, obviously.
Insult one, you insult all.
And I know as well, your daughter's playing the All-Ireland Camogie semi-final today week.
She is, Mairead, yeah. So, yeah, she's proud for all of us. It's a huge family affair, and we're all delighted and proud of them all.
Yeah, well, and as you should be. By the way, I know that with the crowd outside, you mightn't have heard the first clue from our mystery guest, who was a very, very handsome hurler, by the way. And as you can tell, he played in the 2010 All-Ireland final. He had to change his boots. That was clue number one. Clue number two is that he played in the Tipperary defence in the 1997 All-Ireland final. The Tipperary lost to Clare. I just thought I'd mention that. I'd be lucky to get out alive, won't I? Anyway, they're the two clues. So who is it? I wonder, is it Lark Corbett? It's not Noel McGrath because he's busy tomorrow. Is it Nicky English? Can't be Joe Hayes, he's in studio. Now, a real exclusive. We have a man who can see into the future, Johnny Luby, one of the greats in Tipperary hurling. He's a legend in his own mind, by the way. But anyway, Johnny, you're going to give us the last 30 seconds of tomorrow's All-Ireland hurling final between Cork and Tip. You're going to do a commentary.
That's right, Marty.
Well
we're in the dying seconds of this rip-roaring All-Ireland final here in Croke Park, and Cork lead by 2 points, a dangerous lead. The ball is pucked out by Reece Shelley from McCarthy Burrows, the prince and dying of goalkeepers. He drives that ball out 80, 90, 100, 117, 137 yards from his own goal. It comes down on the Cork half-back, Tipperary half-forward line, and a magnificent catch by John McGrath from Castlockmore.
I think, Johnny Luby, we're going to leave it there because the tension is unbelievable. We're going to enjoy this All-Ireland final tomorrow. To all our guests, thank you very, very much indeed.
Good man, Marty. That is why this programme is unique in the whole world. I don't know where in the world you get anything like that. It's fantastic. Thanks so much to Brian and Joe and Tomas. We hope you have a great day tomorrow. It's great having you here today. Now we're going to meet a very talented few young singers from Tipperary. We came across one of them through his huge popularity on social media. Have a look at this.
Okay, folks, I need your help. I've had so many people telling me to go on up for the match, and I'm doing my best in the background, trust me.
Well, you asked and we listened. He's got a cracking song and he's here tonight with some incredibly special guests. Colleen Lua. Please welcome Donna.
Grew up on this field, right on the ash and the steel, from morning to evening, from minor to senior, chasing glory and dreams, glory and dreams. Caught your eyes like the champion to the roar of the crowd, blue and gold round your shoulders, all the pride of your home. Could you carry your brothers standing tall arm in arm?
special thanks to Trad Super Group, Colleen Lua.
Still to come on Up for the Match, some much more great hurling legends and a chance for someone here in studio to win 2 tickets for tomorrow's match. But first, a chance for you at home. See you in a few minutes.
My first time ever seeing hurling live was not that long ago. It was in 2019 at the semi-final, Kilkenny versus Limerick. And I didn't know what to expect. Like, I just couldn't get over how fast it was, how skilled it was, kind of how dangerous it was as well. Like, these athletes have cages on their faces, but like, you know yourself as a high performance athlete, it's so impressive to see really skilled, determined, disciplined athletes in action. Yeah. So it's kind of since then that
So I grew up absolutely immersed in hurling. My mum is from Kilkenny. I played camogie in Dublin, but I guess we went to a lot of Kilkenny All-Ireland finals when I was younger. And the one that stands out to me is in Croke Park in 2012. It was so hard to get tickets. It always came down to the last hour or two and someone knew someone who had tickets. So we got there and it was the most intense match versus Galway, and then it was a replay. So the stress began all again for the next 3 weeks trying to get tickets again, but luckily Kilkenny came out on top that year.
Now, welcome back to Up for the Match, where tonight is all about celebrating the biggest day in the hurling calendar, the All-Ireland Final. Not everyone has a
Okay, so we tossed a coin earlier on and we've decided that Lisa Marie won that, and she has decided she's going to go first. Just in case anyone at home was wondering, we have verified this with concrete sources, so we all agreed we are ready to play. Des?
Okay, so we're starting with the great Joe Canning of Galway, and we're going to reveal how many All-Stars he has. Joe Canning has 5 All-Stars, so that's your base, Lisa Marie, okay? So 5. So you have to tell us if the next person has higher or lower than 5. And this person is the great Nicky English from Tipperary. So, is he higher or lower? What do you think,
Audience,
everyone?
what do you think?
What do you think? Is he higher or lower, Lisa Marie, than 5?
Give her some encouragement.
Lower. Lower. Lisa Marie is going lower. It's a 6. It's a 6.
Okay,
It's higher.
we are going to pass over control. So, you're up next. Nikki English is there. 6 All-Stars.
And John Milan, the great John Milan of Waterford.
Lower.
Lower.
I think lower.
You said that very day. John Milan is a
Maureen
relative
thinks it's
also.
lower.
5.
Well done,
5.
Maureen.
1 fewer.
John Milan
Here we
on
go
commentary
again.
tomorrow. If you haven't heard him already this year, you're in for a treat
Yeah,
tomorrow.
John's on with Porrick Lodge with us on Radio 1 tomorrow morning. Next up.
Sassy.
Oh, did you see it?
No,
No,
she
I
didn't.
didn't. I actually
No,
didn't.
she didn't.
Hang on a second. Shut up. I was checking it.
Ursula Jacob.
Ursula Jacob. We'll skip to the next one.
Okay.
Right. The great Sean O'Halpin. Ursula was 4, but they saw it.
Okay.
So, the great Sean O'Halpin. 5 were on the number. Is Sean O higher or lower?
What do you think?
5. Could he be the same? We're going to go lower.
It's high. You're going to go lower. Lower than 5. Sean O has 3.
Okay, now,
So 3.
this is our very final card. So, Maureen, if you turn this over and you guess right, you're going to the All-Ireland. But if you get it wrong, Lisa Marie is back in business and she's going to the All-Ireland.
She goes
Very-
automatically if
very
you're
harsh.
wrong.
Okay.
So it's
Pressure's on.
So
if
higher
you're,
or
if you're
lower?
right, you win. If you're wrong, Lisa Marie goes. This is the person, Anna Geary from Cork.
Higher or lower?
Higher or lower than 3?
Higher. Ooh.
Tough call. The golden tickets are at stake. 2 golden tickets at stake.
Higher. Higher. No.
Higher than 3?
Higher.
We'll find out after this quick reminder about our competition. Sorry.
Tension here because we are still with Maureen and Lisa Marie. Both of them want to go to tomorrow's final, but only one of them can. Maureen has guessed Anna Geary. She has gone for higher. If she is correct, Maureen's going to the All-Ireland final and she is going to be maid of honour at Roisin's wedding. If she doesn't, Lisa Marie is going to the All-Ireland final.
Okay, then. Is it higher or lower?
Higher.
Higher means a tip victory. Lower means victory.
Woo!
It's higher!
It's higher!
It's higher!
Woo! Well done, Maureen. You
Tipperary
are off to
have won.
Croker.
A win for tip tonight. Well done.
And a win for tip tomorrow.
And well, we'll see. You don't go away empty-handed either because, Lisa Marie, we have something for you as well. 2 nights B&B at the 4-star Castleknock Hotel in Dublin.
Woo.
That'll be nice.
Squeeze that in before you go back to Toronto. Yeah.
Well done.
Great.
Now, I hope you're all not feeling too left out here, are you? Don't
we couldn't
be,
have
don't
that.
be.
Des, we don't want to leave our audience out,
They're
do
only,
we?
they're only looking for stuff.
They're looking for stuff. Well, Des, maybe they're tired, but maybe they're hungry.
Hangry.
Hangry, I'd say. Eddie Rockets is a homegrown Irish company that is cheering on both teams taking part tomorrow. They've been serving their customers since 1989 with one mission: to serve delicious hamburgers made fresh, never frozen, from 100% Irish beef and the best ingredients possible. See eddierockets.ie for more. And to celebrate, they want you all to be very well fed for the match tomorrow. So they've given us a €100 voucher for everyone in the audience.
And actually, back in the day, we have a mobile home in Glenbeigh, and so does he. And as you know, cool camps are always on down in Kerry. So he was the only fella that used to head off up to the cool camps, and it was football obviously that they were playing up there. And you know, in cool camps they always have the cool camp jersey. He turned up every day in his Cork jersey, much to the
Brave man to be wearing the Cork jersey in Kerry.
People, so he got the nickname Corky then for that. So every time he turned up, they were allergic to seeing him in the Cork jersey, but he braved it out.
And you were saying that he was always in pictures. Now, I saw a picture all the way back from 2010 with Jerry O'Connor, with himself and his brother Cian, and Jerry wrote underneath it, "Future stars of Cork." Well, wasn't it written in the stars?
It was. I always say, I think he manifested it when he had the jersey on. He knew he was going to play for Cork.
And I know you're all very proud of Shane. And another woman who's also very proud of Shane is his aunt Helena O'Sullivan. Helena, you know, for any Cork supporter, the night before an All-Ireland final, you're so proud. But when there's family involved, it takes things up a notch, doesn't it?
It does. Like, it's very emotional, like, to have him out there in the Cork jersey, like, and I mean, sure, we're bursting, like, because he's ours, do you know?
Yeah.
It is, it's brilliant. It's brilliant for him.
And how does he find the nerves now? Because I know you're pretty nervous.
But sure, I suppose, like, Shane is very humble, like, and he takes it on his stride, like, and I suppose we do the worry for him, do you know? Yeah, especially for tomorrow, like, but yeah, we would be very nervous now for him, like.
Well, what Helena said to me earlier on is, to be honest, we can't wait for the ball to be thrown in because we were so nervous now.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
very best of luck to him, and I'm sure I have a good feeling. About him. Yay! So with me as well is Mark Coleman's uncle, Donal. Now, Donal, we were talking earlier on as well about Mark when I was chatting with you about him, because I think it's always good for people to know the person behind the player. But you said, again, from a young age, wherever he could, he was pucking a ball.
Yeah, he was always at the ball, as I pucky a ball. And when his parents moved in above here to Blarney and they moved into their new home, their neighbours, the Murrays, beside them, they shared the garden at the back, but there was no fence through the garden between the two of them. Yeah. So they said they better put up a fence there for the bounds, you know. So they went out one evening to decide where the fence would go. And of course, while they were out there, the kiddies broke into a small game of hurling or whatever up and down across the two gardens. And they said, you know, geez, to be ashamed to split up this field. It's just the right size for them, you know. So they left it at that, but that was fine. But you see, then the Murrays had a soccer goal because they were more into soccer. And Mac's side, of course, had a hurling goal. Yeah. So that Mac wasn't happy with that because he'd be playing into the soccer goal and there was no upright. So one day he went into his father's shed and then he pulled out a couple of 3x2s and off down the field with him and stuck him up, planks the timber, planked him up inside each side of the goal below, and he had two hurling goals and he was happy out.
So he had a makeshift goal.
He had a makeshift goal, yeah.
And am I right in saying that there's no boundary to this day?
There's no boundary between the Cormans and the Murrays till this day.
Doesn't it just go to show GA breaking down boundaries literally all over the country? With the very best of luck to Mark and all the Cork team tomorrow. Now, earlier on I mentioned that the hurling fever is here in Cork, and that they're making guitars out of hurleys. I told you I wasn't lying. Micheál O'Regan, tell us about this contraption.
This is I call it the Come On Cule. And I tell you, I can play music on this side. And I can poke a slitter with this side. And I can take the skins off any Tipperary man with the both sides.
Well, we heard it here first. They seem to like that answer anyway. Tell us, where was the inspiration for this?
I make furniture and heirlooms and stuff out of instruments, maybe for people that passed away and that sort of thing. And I'm on a project, but I left it after the semi-final, and I have all these. I came home and I was looking at all these dozens and dozens of instruments, and I was floating the idea with a long time. But there was a spring in me step, and I got excited after the Cork's performance in the semi-final. I got all excited, and I said, it's now or never. So straight the following morning, tore into it, spent a week at it, and here it is.
Well, I tell you, what people might know about you is you're originally from Killa, and we all know a very well-known song. Do you think you'd be able to give us a few bars in that? Yeah, you can all join in now. Here we go.
We're in that tearing and fighting for love, for the lads upon Killa and the Lord up above Killa. La 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 la.
The sing-song's going to continue here, so back to you all in the studio, Des and Jackie.
Well done, Anna. Well done, Blarney. Great guess. Great to see them. Our next guests here have seen it all Ireland's all-stars, all sides of the hurling pitch. So will you please welcome the pride of Tipperary, Shane McGrath and Lara Corbett, and from Cork, the great Johnny McGrath.
Welcome along, lads. Welcome.
You're very welcome.
Shawnee, it's kind of hard to believe this is the first ever All-Ireland final between Cork and Tip, because the rivalry has been there. You were a young fella in the 80s and 90s when they were in the midst of it all.
Yeah, sure. My father brought him to all the games, Jackie. I nearly preferred going to Thurles than going to Páirc Uí Chaoimh. They were magical days. I'll always remember my favourite game was 1990, and the lads are referencing it inside, the Derbies and the Derbies and the whole lot, or the Donkeys, sorry. But 91 I thought was really special. I was actually an under-16 player in 91. We played the tournaments and we played a selection from Tip in 91. And before the game, we played at maybe 12 o'clock. The minors played at 1 and then the seniors were on. But after the game, after our game, we were allowed sitting benches behind the goal. And I can vividly remember it. I can't remember, I nearly forget my child's name, but I'll always remember the matches. And I can vividly remember Nicky going through towards the end. And we idolised him. And he kicking a shot, you know, the ball was in the ground, he'd lost his hurley, and he kicked it up, it caught the top of his foot, and it went wide, and it was waved wide, thankfully. Well, I'll tell you, I ran out to him after, because I absolutely idolised him, and I was looking up at him, and I was grabbing his jersey, and I was Nicky this and Nicky that, and he was turning to a mentor or a fan or something, he was roaring, it was wide, or sorry, it was over, while we were shouting it was wide. But I was next to him, and he was my idol. And as a Cork man, I said I should be, you know, saying it was wide. But I ended up saying, it was over all right, Nicky, definitely. So, fond memories, never forget it.
Of all those games, Shane, you mentioned that 2008 was very special for you and Tip. Why was that so special?
I suppose we were trying to maybe make a breakthrough with Liam coming on board, and we didn't really know what training was for a few years before that, you know, and then Liam got involved, and we were back training maybe a bit earlier than most teams should have been in 2007, but sure, we had to do it. And even to go down that day, and I suppose I would have been looking at Jerry O'Connor as, you know, nearly one of my hurling heroes, and next thing I'm marking him and Tom Kenny, and you're just kind of in on him. But even that day with the atmosphere days, I don't know what story with the terrace was it oversold or was it too hot or whatever, but the crowd just ended up coming along by the sideline, and it was just kind of a special day for us, and that we kind of announced ourselves that, you know, we are good enough to compete. And I'll always remember this was as well, that a young guy from Cork called Pat Horgan made his debut that day, I think, Shawnee, would that be right? That's right. And just to see him now, I suppose it's funny, I was doing the Tip Cork match for the radio this year, so that's 17 years on. And I'm there watching Pat Horgan still running around the field, popping over pints. I found it hard to get up the stairs to do the radio, and all I was popping was chicken goujons into my mouth. So I just admire him and, you know, the longevity of his career, and I suppose Noel as well tomorrow, and what they've done. I don't think, and even TJ and these lads, I just don't think we're going to see it anymore, and what they're doing is just very, very special.
Yeah,
Jackie, I don't like this. The Cork fellas are loving Tip, and the Tip fellas are loving
weird.
Cork.
There's something wrong, Larry. You need to sort this out now.
Yeah.
Because the one thing I think you're all united in is when you hate Kilkenny, you love beating them in a final. So I think I've seen that. This is what comes with you, Lara, because there's a sense that that Tip team is coming, and 2010 then happens. Shane's referencing 08, but you win back-to-back Munster titles, 08, 09, and then 2010 happens. It must have been just a magic time to be a Tip hurler.
Yeah, 2010 was a magic time. It was here in 2019, we were talking about that as well. But I just think, looking at it now, we need a new time, we need a new Tipperary, and we think tomorrow is going to be the start of that.
But as a neutral, I mean, year time, 2010 was massive, and stopping Kilkenny, but for you getting the hat-trick, we can actually see it here. It's a unique thing in an All-Ireland final to get a hat-trick, and you're a very lucky man.
It's actually a good ball in this.
You drove it in, Shane, yeah. That's one.
Is caught inside there by Patrick Marr, and it's
Bonner takes a fair bit of punishment there to make you look good.
for the Premier County
Ah, brilliant. Lara, do you watch it back much?
Well, it's my father-in-law that watches that back, and Paddy Gleeson is in Clonmel Hospital at the minute. So I want to give a good shout out to Paddy Gleeson and everyone in Clonmel Hospital this evening. He's going to watch the match there tomorrow.
Right.
But looking back on that game, it's gas. Croke Park takes life of its own. And we saw that with Oisin O'Donoghue the last minute of the game, the last day against Kilkenny. And what happens? He will look back on that goal in years to come and say, how did I get that shot away? 5 lads around him, fantastic goal. But Croke Park lends itself to just say doing that on All-Ireland final day.
It is a special atmosphere. That was cracking, that atmosphere. I remember, Shawnee, Cork went in '99 and the scenes when you won it there. Barry Murphy was manager, and he brought in a gang of youngsters into that team.
Yeah, it was incredible days. I mean, I was only telling Shane earlier, the year before, we won our first championship game in 6 years. We beat Limerick in '98. So we went through, we've regularly gone through little mini famines. We won the league in '98 and we won an unbelievable All-Ireland in '99. What I remember most was the interview after. And I just want to put it on record that Joe Hayes must have a lot more money than me. Because I'm follically challenged, and I priced the hair in Turkey. And obviously he got the teeth done in Turkey, and I couldn't afford to get the hair done in Turkey. So Joe must be a lot wealthier than I am.
But come here, what was it about Jimmy? Because Des is right, you're looking at him there, a pure icon of Cork. What was it that he brought to you? What made him so special?
I think it was the way he was so relaxed around you. I mean, we kind of knew him around town because he'd go to Ballinlough to underage games. He was a minor manager as well from '93 to '95. I had him in '93. And a lot of the underage games in Cork were played in small ground, Ballinlough, beautiful grounds, the Junior 3 Division ground, or Division 1 ground. And Jimmy was always there. So you kind of were rubbing shoulders with him at a young age and never felt, to be honest, you'd be in awe of him, but he just relaxed you straight away. And when you went into a dressing room, like, Jimmy was very tactical when he needed to be. He loved the fast, pacey hurler, but he loved crack as well. And like, we had some great characters in our dressing room, the Browns from Blackrock, Fergal Ryan, The Rock, Shawnee Farrell. And he allowed you to express yourself, took the pressure off you. And because maybe with interviews, media stuff, it was all on him. The spotlight was always on him. Then you went out and you expressed yourself. No, he'd let you know when you weren't playing well, in his own way, not with shouting and roaring, but you always knew when he wasn't happy with you. But he was fantastic, and he really let you, as I said, express yourself, and I loved playing under him.
And similarly, you had Liam Sheedy, lads. What was his impact on you?
Sure, like Liam, you'd work with him here, sure. You see how detailed he is in what he does and what he's done as a manager. But I think it was his people skills that was unreal. Like, say, I'm from a very small place, Ballinhinch. Nobody had ever really done what I was trying to do before, like with people on the panel, but no one was really on the team or consistently making it. And Liam would just give you this belief, and Damon O'Shea and these guys, I'm sure Lara would agree, that you were the best and you deserved to be there. And his big thing was always about the 1%ers. And he was always looking at what can we do, like, to make this performance, make this setup as professional as we can. And he'd look at whatever he could, but his people skills days were unbelievable. His man management skills were unreal. You can see it in what he's doing in his job. And as I said, everyone here can see it when he's on the Sunday game. But like, he'd be the same person with Tipperary, and he'd give the same, inspiration to Tipperary as would if he's with the Portrush under 10 team. Yeah. And I think that's what makes Liam such a great manager. And like, I suppose he was our manager, but like, we're still very good friends with him to this day, and we're still all very close, like, so I think that's what Liam did for me anyway. He made me believe I could do things maybe that I probably didn't believe in myself before, and I think that's what makes him just a brilliant manager, like.
Yeah, I was sorry, go on, yeah. Give me a round of applause there. I was lucky enough to start off in 2001 with Nicky English. Called me in as a young guy, 19 years of age, but he gave me great belief. But what Nicky had as well was honesty. Fast forward that a few years when Liam Sheedy came in, he had honesty. So if you had your back, he backed you all the way. It didn't make a difference. What I really liked about Liam Sheedy is that if he says something to you on a Tuesday night inside in Thurles, inside in training, he'd also say the same thing at half-time in All-Ireland final. He didn't change his tack. Yeah. He wasn't there to blame someone. So when you went to Croke Park, like that day in 2010, you knew who you had going up in the bus with you. And as Shane already said, is that they're the types of people that build character, build teams, and you see it here yourselves working in RT, exactly what you have with Liam Sheedy.
Yeah, well, it's worked out well for both of them. The lads are going to stay with us for another while because we've got an absolute treat for you next. Shawnee, we've obviously heard Killa back there with, and I'm sure you've heard it plenty around Cork as well. Well, we've got a very talented singer now from Cork who has given it a little bit of a twist of her own with Rebel Rising. Will you please welcome Ella Ryan?
swing and the rocket fall back. What a beautiful thing for a happy Jody. And the boys in red will hurl with the fire that our old heroes bled. We will rear 'em and tear 'em at bench 24. Hoggy leading the charge like he's done times before. To rely, la 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 la. For the red and the white we adore. For the rebels to rise evermore. When my boots have been hung and my hurley laid down, bury me with my jersey in my rebel hometown. Of the rebels!
Well done, Era. That was fantastic. Well done. There's so much still to come. Lots more music in Cork. We'll see you after the break. Tick, tick, tick.
My favourite GA moment would be my first time in Croke Park. It was a really special moment for me because it was my first time and my teacher had won the All-Ireland Club Final. It was a magical moment for me.
Lads, do you know what my greatest GA moment was?
No.
It was the 2011 All-Ireland Final when Tommy Walsh soared through the air, caught the ball, gave a diagonal pass to Henry Shefflin. Henry scored a point, put Kilkenny 5 points up, and we went on to win that game. It was such an inspirational catch. We knew we weren't going to lose the game after I saw that.
And you're welcome back to Up for the Match. We're nearly heading into extra time here before the final whistle blows, and what's been a great night so far, I have to say.
So let's ask our panel then. I know you're going to say your counties are going to win, but Shane, why do you think Tip are going to win tomorrow?
I think just even the heart they showed them down to 14 men down at Páirc Uí Chaoimh. Like, I think Cork are the best hurling team in the country at the moment, but I just... You get a cheer, you get a cheer.
I think there's a boat coming, lads.
You get a cheer for everything here tonight. But our lads could have been bet by 30 points that day, but they never give up. And just every interview I've heard of them, from Sam O'Farrell, Darren McCarthy, Noel, all of them, they just say that they love playing for Tip and the pride they have. And I just think tomorrow that if we can stay in the game, now if we give Cork the same start we gave Kilkenny, I do feel the game we won't get it back. But I think if we're in that game and you look at the clock and it's maybe minute 50, 52, and as soon as Noel McGrath gets up off that bench, and I'd say the roar that he'll get if Oisin comes on, the energy you get from Alan Tynan. So I do think, Jackie, that if we're in that game coming into the final straight, maybe 60 minutes on, I do think maybe the pressure might get to the Cork lads. And I think there's a freedom that our lads have going in tomorrow. I think it's going to be very close. I do think.
Shawnee,
I think Tip are going to do it by 2 points.
We're going to do it. Shawnee, Cork. I mean, Patrick Horgan is only one of many, and as someone said, Seamus Harney and the other lads have been there a long time. It would mean an awful lot, wouldn't it, to all of you in Cork?
Oh, it would be incredible, Des. I mean, Shane was on about his legacy, I suppose. You know, he's there 17 years. What he's done for club and county has been immense. Seamus Harney, Conor Lehan, the same Damien Cahalan. They've all been incredible soldiers, I suppose, and they've gone through some serious stuff, losing in 13, the 21 final. And last year must have been heartbreaking, and it's very commendable, I suppose, the way they came back from last year. They've been unbelievable. Weirdly enough, and even though no one wants a mauling, I just thought after the 16-point mauling against Limerick, the resilience since then has been just off the charts. I mean, they were flat against Waterford, you'd expect that, but I don't know, the Munster final game wasn't the best game in the world, but for attitude, determination, and never say die spirit, it was just absolutely incredible. They played some champagne stuff against Dublin. And myself and Shane, we agree, we have the same surname, but that's where the similarities between us start and finish.
I have the bigger hair.
I have the Joe Hayes turkey style.
Wait till he gets the teeth done, I'll tell you. Lara, what's your gut feeling?
Well, my gut feeling is that the referee tomorrow is called Liam Gordon. Yeah. We're very happy with him in Tipperary because do you know that he's allowing us to start with 15 tomorrow? the last day before the game starts, we're allowed to start at 14, so we have 15 players in the field tomorrow anyway, so we're delighted with that. And another, why are we here? Paddy Power paid out already at the beginning of the year. Cork's your All-Ireland champions. Paid out. So all we need from the Tipperary supporters tomorrow, we need one thing from me. When we're coming down the home straight after half-time, the game is going to be tight enough. We need to put more pressure on these Cork players like 2024, 2021 and 2013. So we'll need you tomorrow to roar, shout at home as quick as loud as you can. And we're bringing Liam McCarthy is coming home to Thurles tomorrow night. Ronan Maher's going to bring him home to Thurles.
Shawnee, just...
You can't let him away with that, Shawnee.
Shawnee, apart from the soldiers, there's a lot made of your full forward line, for instance, as well.
Yeah.
That's pressure as well.
Yeah, look, Davis, they're very potent. They're all
great,
unbelievable
aren't they?
players.
Yeah.
I mean, Brian Hayes, Alan Connolly, obviously Hoggy, but there's a freshness about the style that the lads have. You know, Hayes is a kind of a cool dude and a good final, and he could be hurler of the year, and Connolly is a goal machine. But this man played inside. I played a small bit, but I wasn't as good as him. But when you're inside, you've got to be fed. So it's huge that we get ball in, that our midfielders get on top and our halfbacks get on top and we feed them. And there'll be a lot pointed towards that, but I think our half-back line need to get on top. And just on Lars' point, he didn't throw in the little subtle one about going to Lark Corbett's either for a few points when you get back to Thurles. He didn't slip that one in.
That's a given.
Don't worry, that'll happen as well.
Yeah.
Lads, thanks so much. Give it up for our panel here. They've been
Thank you,
absolutely
lads.
brilliant.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Let's see how Marty is doing in Lockmore Castellini, and we're going to find out who the masked mascot is.
It's somebody old, I could tell by his hands.
Welcome back to Lockmore Castellini. And my guess is they're going straight from Lockmore Castellini straight to Croke Park, because I don't think anybody's going to sleep in mid-Tipperary or indeed any part of Tipperary. Well, let me tell you that we've had great excitement here, and we thank Lockmore Castellini for their warm welcome. Our mystery guest is really anxious to take the mask off. The third clue is he managed Tipperary, and in the All-Ireland semi-final against Wexford in 2019, he threw down the stopwatch after the third goal was disallowed, and he broke his stopwatch, and he had to get a new one for the final. Who is it, everybody? Unbelievable! I first want to say, Liam, that mask is a dramatic improvement on your normal look. But that having been said, we really appreciate all of us on Up for the Match for being a good sport, for putting that on. Tell me, Saturday night, before All-Ireland finals, you're twice an All-Ireland winning manager. What's going through Liam Cahill tonight? What would you be doing?
It's all about routine, Marty. You know, Liam will have his routine. He's been there before. He'll be well set up. He knows his team are in a good place, so he'll have a good night's sleep. I'd say the head will rest easy on the pillow tonight. He knows his team are in good form for tomorrow.
Well, we're in Lockmore Castellini, and I think whether you're from Tipperary or not, you do admire and love the McGraths. You had them. You were managing the three of them for a long time.
Yeah, I was. I had the three of them in 2019. Obviously, I had Noel since 2006, when he was 15 years of age. A pleasure to be around. I think they epitomise everything that's good about Lockmore as a club and everything that's good about the McGrath family. I must say they're just so humble and so nice, and a pleasure to be around and a pleasure to manage.
So how do you see tonight? I mean, or tomorrow, I should say, because tonight there's a lot of rain falling. Is that advantage Tipperary?
Well, we're happy enough.
Oh, yeah, so there you go.
The hay saved. The hay saved.
You're kind of, you're putting under the radar, but you're still, you have a great chance tomorrow, I would have thought.
Yeah, I think, Cork, there's a lot of pressure on Cork. You know, they've lost the last three, and these guys, there's Celtic crosses in this Tipperary dressing room, and they know how to win, and the McGraths especially, and I'd say Noel will have a massive influence on that first 15 that goes out, and I think they have a great team, and if they can get this game down the home straight, Marty, I think this cup is coming back to Tipperary on Monday night.
Well, Liam Sheedy, all I say is, thank you for being with us. The celebrations in Lockmore Castellini is a celebration for hurling. Liam is on the Sunday game tomorrow with the panel, but from all of us in Tipperary, let's look forward to a great All-Ireland hurling final.
Well done, Liam. Great sport there. And that hat suits Marty.
He must have been roasted.
He must have been roasted. Let's go back to Anna for a last word from a great gang in Cork.
Well, Jackie and Des, we couldn't come to Blarney J Club without talking to the chairman, Colm Sheehan. Colm, you can see what it means to all the young people here and the older people as well, but just tell us what it really means for Blarney.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we were truly honoured to be holding this event here, but as I said, we're not just representing, Blarney, we're representing the whole of Cork. And we're so proud of our 3 players, Max, Shane and Padraig. You know, they're great ambassadors for everybody across Cork, but they're great role models for all our young children here as well. And they're so good with their time to come down and train the young kids as well, and they're exemplary and they're a credit to our families.
Well, I know that they're just as competitive as all the Cork lads because their plan was to beat Lockmore Castellani. I think you've done a good job. And hurling, you know, people are travelling the length and breadth of the country to be at the match tomorrow. But you've travelled even further. Blarney Bob, tell us your story.
Yeah, I'm living in Sydney for the last 20 years, and missing the big matches is a hard part of the life. So, like last year, straight after Cork had qualified, I was on the net and booked the flight straight away. I told my Brazilian Mrs. Ariana...
After he booked the tickets?
That decision was made, I'm off, and she understood.
And am I allowed to ask the question, were you lucky enough to get a Willy Wonka golden ticket?
I kept the faith, and Stephen O'Brien looked after me today. You know?
Well, I hope you enjoy the match. There's not more left to say. I think we're going to have to be played out by the Blarney Brass and Band, who, might I add, came second in the Munster Championships last week. Give it up!
They know all about the rivalry between Cork and Tip and Brazil, that's for sure. Now it's time to find out who won our competition for you at home, and the winner is from Tipperary. Peter Liston. Congratulations to Peter. You get those tickets and the money. Thanks to Harvey Norman for that great prize.
Yeah, absolutely. Tip have won the competition tonight, the competition there. I'm sure that's the end of their winning, Rebel folks, is it? Absolutely. All right, thanks to all of our guests tonight, to our audience, to all of you watching at home or abroad. What a brilliant match we have in store for us tomorrow. And of course, you can follow all the coverage right here on RTE2, on RTE Radio 1 and the RTE Player as well.
Agus beg, Creala, Umlán le fáil as Gaeilge ar an RTE News Channel agus ar radio na Gaeltacht freisin. So best of luck to Cork, to Tipperary and to referee Liam Gordon and his officials. We'll see you here again next week. We'll do it all again for the football and up for the match. But to play us out tonight, here's Kjol. Good luck, Cork and Tip.
July 1806, we set sail from the sweet coast of Cork. We were sailing away with a cargo of bricks for the fine city hall in New York. And we'd a wonderful craft, she was rigged for an eye. And oh, how the wild wind drove her. She withstood several blasts, she 27 masts, and they called her the Irish Rover. We had 1 million bags of the best Sligo rags. We had 2 million barrels of stone. We had 3 million sides of old blind horses' hides, 4 million barrels of bones. And we'd 5 million hogs, 6 million dogs, 7 million barrels of porter. We had 8 million bales of old natty goat's tails in the hold of the Irish Rover. There was Barney McGee from the banks of the Lee, and there was Hogan from County Tyrone. There was Johnny McGirt, who was scared stiff of a work, and a chap from Westmeath come along. And we stood her old Sue, who